Have you ever seen someone's life unravel in slow motion? I have, and in fact I made it happen. Right now, I'm parked outside LeBlanc, the most exclusive restaurant in the city. Through the large windows I can see my wife, Jessica, dining with her lover, Howard. She's wearing the black dress I bought her last month for our anniversary. The irony isn't lost on me. Her laughter echoes across the room, practiced, flawless, just like the life she's been pretending to live. I glance at my phone. 8:15 p.m. The plan is set. Soon, her carefully built world will come crashing down. But for now, I watch. Jessica looks radiant tonight, as always when she's meeting him. Her dark hair cascades in gentle waves, catching the soft glow of the restaurant's lighting. That smile she's giving him, it's the same one she used to give me. Howard leans in close, probably whispering something charming. His expensive watch gleams in the light, a gift from his wife, though Jessica doesn't know about her, not yet. My finger hovers over the send button. The message reads, "Enjoy this evening, because it will be over soon." I watch her phone buzz. There. Did you catch it? That brief, almost imperceptible flinch, the subtle crack in her perfect facade. She reads the message, and I can see the first spark of fear in her eyes. Howard doesn't notice. He's too busy playing the charming fool, unaware of the tremor in Jessica's hand as she sets her phone down. He has no idea his world is about to implode as well. Not far from them, Jessica's relatives are seated, her uncle, cousin, and sister. They haven't said a word, haven't looked her way, but they're there for a reason, a part of my plan. I send another message. Did you really think no one would find out about this? Jessica's mask starts to crack further. She glances around nervously, her wine glass trembling slightly as she raises it to her lips. The night has barely started, and already she's falling apart, just as I intended. You see, revenge isn't about grand confrontations or loud arguments. Real revenge is watching someone drown in their own lies, piece by piece. And tonight, I'm going to show my wife exactly what happens when you mistake my patience for weakness. Want to know how it all began? How I discovered the affair, and more importantly, how I devised the perfect revenge that would destroy not just their relationship, but their entire lives. Let me take you back to the moment that shattered my trust and set everything in motion. It all started with a scent. A month ago, Jessica came home late from a so-called dinner with friends. The clock read 11:45 p.m. and something felt off. When she leaned in to kiss me goodnight, I caught it. An unfamiliar cologne, expensive, distinctly masculine. Hermes, if I'm not mistaken. I knew because I'd considered buying it once, but I didn't. And that scent lingered on her clothes. Most men would have exploded, demanded answers right there, created a scene. But I'm not most men. Years in corporate law taught me one lesson. Patience reveals what emotion hides. So I said nothing, just kissed her and watched as she disappeared into the bathroom. That night, I lay awake, my mind spinning. 6 years of marriage, countless promises, dreams of starting a family, possibly destroyed by a scent that didn't belong. But instead of confronting her, I observed. And oh, what a performance I watched over the next few weeks. Jessica thought she was being clever. She deleted messages, took calls in private, always kept her phone face down. But she missed the small signs. How she'd smile at her phone when she thought I wasn't looking, the way she'd dress up for client meetings that weren't even on her work calendar, the extra hour at the gym her fitness app didn't record. I started a log. Tuesday, 7 p.m. dinner with Sarah, but Sarah posted photos at a family dinner across town. Friday, 2 p.m. client meeting, but no meetings were confirmed by her office. Tiny lies stacking up like evidence in a case I never wanted to build. Then came the credit card statements. LeBlanc, uptown boutiques, a hotel bar, each expense made while she was supposedly somewhere else. Every discovery was a knife in my side, but I remained calm, played the trusting husband role to perfection. I hired a private investigator, not because I needed proof, but because I needed details. Howard's name surfaced quickly, a corporate lawyer like myself, but with a penchant for taking risks. Married to a real estate mogul's daughter. He had more to lose than Jessica could even imagine. The betrayal stung, but it also sparked something in me, a cold, calculating focus I usually reserved for my most complex cases. As I gathered information, a plan began to take shape, not just to expose their affair, but to destroy their entire world in one well-timed evening. They wanted to play games? Fine. I'd show them what a real player could do. Mike, Jessica's voice interrupted my thoughts one evening.
Everything okay? You seem distant lately. I smiled, the same smile she gave to her secret messages. Everything's perfect, I replied, and soon it would be. Because revenge, like justice, is best served cold. The hardest part wasn't uncovering the affair. It was pretending I didn't know for weeks. I perfected the role of the clueless husband while carefully setting the pieces of my revenge into place. Timing was everything. First, I contacted Jessica's family. Her Uncle James had been like a father to her since her parents passed. I invited him for coffee, bringing a thick envelope with me. I wish I didn't have to show you this, I said, sliding photos across the table. Jessica and Howard entering hotels, restaurant receipts, text logs. Her uncle's hands trembled as he looked at each piece of evidence. She's repeating her mother's mistakes, he muttered, his voice heavy with disappointment. Jessica's mother had ruined their family with an affair years ago. History was repeating itself. I need your help, I told him. Not to save our marriage, that's long gone, but to show her actions have consequences. I laid out my plan, and he understood. Her uncle made the calls, and within hours, Jessica's closest relatives were on board. Her sister Emma, her cousin David, and his wife. They knew their roles perfectly. No confrontation, just silent judgment, more devastating than words ever could be. Next, I targeted Howard's wife, Scarlett. This one required a subtler approach. I didn't approach her directly, but instead sent her anonymous evidence, not only of his affair with Jessica, but 3 others. I learned that Charlotte controlled Howard's finances, his career, lifestyle. All of it depended on her family's connections. The day before the restaurant scene, I visited our apartment's leasing office. Being the sole name on the lease had its perks. Within an hour, I had termination papers in hand, effective immediately. The property manager was sympathetic once I mentioned infidelity. That night, I watched Jessica pack an overnight bag. Business trip tomorrow? I asked casually. Just dinner with clients, she replied, lying effortlessly. Don't wait up. I pulled her close, kissed her forehead. Wear that black dress I bought you. You look gorgeous in it. She smiled, excitement and guilt flashing in her eyes. Great idea. As she walked away, I confirmed the dinner reservations at LeBlanc, 2 tables, one for the lovers, one for her family. Then I called the movers to collect the boxes I'd already packed.
Everything was set. Tomorrow, Jessica would learn that the most brutal revenge isn't always delivered with anger, but with silence. The stage was set, the players were in position, and now it was time for the show to begin. I watched through the restaurant window as Jessica checked her phone again. Her perfectly manicured fingers trembled. The first message I sent made her freeze. The truth always comes out, doesn't it? Howard was mid-story, oblivious to the storm about to hit. The second message buzzed in Jessica's phone. Look to your left. Family always comes first. I saw her realize what she was looking at. Her Uncle James, Sister Emma, Cousin David, and his wife, all sitting a few tables away, their faces masks of disappointment. Jessica's hand shook so violently she had to put her glass down. Everything okay, beautiful? Howard asked, clueless. A third message hit. Did you think no one would find out about the hotel meetings? Jessica paled. She glanced at her family again, but they turned their faces away, their silence more piercing than any confrontation. The noise of the restaurant seemed to mock her as her world crumbled slowly, piece by carefully constructed piece. Then Howard's phone buzzed. His wife's message was clear. "Check your email. I want you home in 20 minutes." I watched as his face changed when he opened the email. Photos, receipts, texts, not just with Jessica, but with other women. His perfect lie was collapsing. I have to go," Howard stammered, already standing. The confident lawyer was gone, replaced by a man scrambling to salvage what was left. Jessica reached for his hand, confusion and fear evident in her eyes. "Howard, wait!" But he was already throwing money on the table and running. My final message to Jessica lit up her screen. "I didn't just catch you. I watched you for weeks. And now, everyone else will too." The restaurant buzzed as Howard rushed out. Her family filed quietly past her, eyes averted, until only Jessica remained in her seat. She was no longer the picture of perfection. Her walls were gone, and all that was left was the hollow shell of a woman who'd thought she could betray me without consequence.